Hello, Umbra here, and today we're going to be reacting to a certain man of the act of the man, the act man. Yeah, I haven't actually really checked out. Well, I have seen quite a bit of his stuff, but I haven't actually I haven't reacted to anything of his on the channel yet. So let's fix that, shall we? And since I've just recently finished the Fallout TV show, I figured out, hey, Fallout TV show, the Act Man, why not? I know it's come out about 6 days ago, but I just want to react to it anyway. So we're going to react to the Fallout show is unbelievably good. That's me trying to do like a freaking. If anyone's seen Soccer AM, that's basically like if you've seen a skit, Unbelievable Techers, that's basically what I'm trying to do. That's too obscure a reference, but anyway. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, man, what we got?
When it comes to video game television adaptations, how they turn out can often feel like Lady Luck flipping a coin.
I see what you're doing there.
Delivery, kid.
Arcane, Edge Runners, The Last of Us.
Those are all good.
On heads.
Those are good.
And then you have. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, pretty much.
Of course, there's the fiasco with Henry Cavill leaving the Witcher show. So when I heard that there was a Fallout TV series,
the Witcher series for the Witcher TV show, it started out promising, but then it just became a kind of, it's alright.
Is in production. Well, I was a little skeptical, but those skepticisms were laid to rest, and the only thing I could say was,
what in the goddamn?
Yeah, I know, right? I was struck by those scores as well.
Average at best, but it is unbelievably good.
You want to make my cock explode now?
What? Fallout show was produced by Jonathan Nolan,
Okay.
brother of Christopher Nolan, and if you know these guys,
Oh,
you know that they
that's
rarely
why.
miss. The TV show has renewed
I
interest
never
in
miss.
the other Fallout games as well, causing a recent surge in their player counts. Likely because the show reminds people what they love about Fallout.
I have an idea. What if I were to do like a thumbs up?
Yeah.
So this
Trust me, when that scene popped up, first of all, I felt stupid for not realizing it in the first episode. And when that scene came up in the third episode, I was just like, no fucking way. That's the origin story for that. God damn, I gotta say, this is what happens when people actually play the games first. Take notes, Halo writers.
Video is going to be mostly spoiler free, but if there is
Mostly.
I want you to experience in the show yourself, then I'll put something up on screen. This video has no sponsor because it's sponsored by me. Cringe. And my public Discord.
Yeah, no Red Challenge today.
Which you should join right now. It's a great place to talk about games, shoot the shit, and just have a good time.
You're in that suit, you convinced me.
Post fan edits, and you know what? This place is cursed. I'm actually going to delete it. The show follows a trio of main characters. Lucy, a member of Vault 33, who goes into
the purest soul ever.
Her dad, the Ghoul,
in the Vault universe.
Cooper, a former movie star turned bounty hunter,
best
and
character.
Maximus, a member of the Brotherhood of Steel, who has aspirations of becoming a knight.
The man who can't catch a break.
Familiar with the premise of Fallout? Nuclear warfare threatens the world. Company named Vault-Tec is contracted by the government to create fallout shelters, aka vaults. Nuclear war does break out in 2077. Hundreds of years pass. Well, let's open the vaults and see what the world is like. What the fuck is that? The Fallout universe is expansive and deep. I mean, these are RPGs you can play for thousands of hours. There's 27 years worth of lore and backstory to tap into. So translating that to the big screen was probably the hardest thing about making this show. But they've managed to capture the essence of what makes Fallout Fallout.
I feel like that's quite an important thing to nail, is you have to sort of like keep the spirit of the game while marketing it to a different audience. Not a lot of adaptations do that well. Apart from the stuff in recent years, obviously Halo doesn't count because goodness me, what happened. But yeah, I think we've been getting better at it so far. I mean, just look at this series, Arcane and The Last of Us.
But just like the games, it's not solely about the main objective. It's also about the breadth of side content and side characters. There are tons of quirky, funny people that populate the wasteland, and they do a great job of illustrating how people have adapted to this new world. I figured we should talk about the criticisms and get those out of the way, because there's not too many. The biggest and obviously most important critique, Ron Perlman doesn't voice the intro.
Yeah,
No.
I imagine they did that
I don't know if
intentionally.
you know this, but war.
Ron Perlman has been in
Oh,
every
why
Fallout.
did
so
he
it's a
cut
little
it? I
disappointing
was
that he's not
expecting
here.
him to see it.
Regardless, the show still has
Oh, yeah.
a fantastic opening
Oh, yeah,
sequence.
one of the better
show
ones in
also
recent memory.
doesn't go out of its way to explain all of the tech and lore of the universe. So if you're not already familiar with Fallout, some things might be confusing or unclear.
Mm-hmm.
But because the show is good, that'll make people curious in the lore. And they'll
Yeah,
wanna
and then
look
they
things
want to go
up.
back and
You
play
know,
the
what are
games.
the other
So, you
vaults
know,
like?
marketing.
Some of the fight choreography, mostly like hand-to-hand combat stuff, can look a little soft. Sometimes characters are put in really dangerous situations and they just kind of bullshit their way
again, I'm
through
pretty
it.
sure
But
that's
the biggest
intentional.
complaint I've been seeing is about retconning. The history and lore of Fallout is really fucking
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
retcons
The
are pretty
series
much
has been around
inevitable in
since
any
97,
sort of
so
like
naturally fans want to protect
adaptation.
that,
You're gonna have a
especially
few
since the
things
show
which
has
don't
been
translate well.
confirmed as canon, so it needs to line
Yeah,
up
that's
with
what he
the
said
other
as well.
games. Now, I'm
Todd
no
Howard said it was
expert on
canon,
the
so, you
lore
know,
of
we might
Fallout,
disagree.
and typically, I'm not one who obsesses over lore in video games
Unless it's
and
Halo.
consistent timelines and all that. It's pretty easy for me to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah, I've seen his Halo video as well, and yeah, and if you've seen that video, you know he's being too nice.
If what I'm watching or playing is amazing, entertaining, and immersive enough. But since the show has been confirmed as canon, this is a new direction for the Fallout series. It could have a huge impact on the next game. Obviously, people don't want Bethesda to fuck that up. Now, this is my perspective as a
you had to
Halo
remind me of
fan.
that, didn't you?
If retcons and lore consistency are the biggest complaints people have, that's a good problem to have. The producers of
Yeah,
the
I
Halo
know.
show created an entirely new timeline just to fuck it up and intentionally ignore the
Because
lore of
apparently
Halo.
they didn't play the
That's
games.
how far they wanted to go in the not Halo direction.
Yeah, it's like we can make
often
shit
we
up.
see
Oh
adaptations
god,
that
you have
look
to.
and feel
Oh
nothing like
god,
the
you have to
source
remind me of those
material.
two.
What I'm trying to say
God, get them off screen.
is that I'm bitter. I'm bitter that you guys have a great show.
All right.
And that's not to say you can fuck with the lore as much as you want as long as the end product is good. But it's nice to keep things in perspective, you know? The show is great. It's entertaining. It 100% feels like Fallout in every way.
Yeah, I know.
And that's
That's
what makes the Fallout TV series so awesome. Its identity
I know.
and tone.
Wait, don't you mean
Lucy
unbelievably
McLean.
gold?
Oh, no, it's Lucy.
Also, yeah, fun little detail, like,
Nope.
Yep.
It says Goosey.
Fallout is part post-apocalyptic depression-fueled nightmare and part hilarious dark comedy. They
yeah, you have to
absolutely
balance
nailed
both
this
of those
vibe.
out.
You're a coward. You know that shit?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's good acting as well, just to
We
say.
all are, Norm.
Just from the facial expression alone, it's just like,
That's why we live in a vault.
yeah.
You can tell that great care was taken to get the details, the intricate subtleties just right. Sound effects like for radiation are there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things hardcore fans will notice and appreciate. I don't think there was ever a joke in the show that made me roll my eyes, groan,
No,
or
there wasn't
sigh.
really.
No Marvel-esque.
There's some solid jokes in
Uh-oh.
this.
He's behind me, isn't he? The
Ugh.
humor lands, and it's funny. A lot of the jokes are purely visual. There's one part where this character, Thaddeus, is waiting for pickup at a radio station.
Yeah?
And he's talking to
Oh,
the radio
this one.
operator who's trying to tell him about how nobody appreciates the music he plays.
Yeah, it's like
And
he's
Thaddeus
trying.
is just like, oh, yeah.
I do love Thaddeus in this scene, even though he is kind of a dick, to be honest. But yeah, I think that scene in particular is actually like he's trying to tolerate it and not insult him, and still trying to be like, yeah, they have no appreciation for good music and stuff like that, and just like trying to get on someone's good side, and it's just I don't know. I just find that thing kind of entertaining.
Cool. Then it zooms out, and he says,
Great job on these booby traps, by the way. Really?
And
Good.
yeah,
Hey, thanks.
and then I love his
and it's
response.
like, all these people died because they wanted to confront the radio guy over the shitty music he played.
Yeah,
The
and
show
that
is
guy,
also
and I do love how the line afterwards from that radio guy is basically like, yeah, those are my critics. Like, damn.
wildly out of pocket at times.
You want to have sex?
Yeah, not gonna lie, I think the facial expressions sell it more than the dialogue.
Yeah.
Men will get a signal like this and straight up be like, I wonder if she's into me. You'll be blindsided by some crazy shit that happens.
Yep.
If you don't audibly shout, what the fuck, at least once while watching this, then you are a robot who cannot feel emotion. It's time
Or try to
power
harvest
off.
someone's organs.
Lucy is from Vault 33, and most of the vaults have
Anyone
some
gets that
kind of
reference? Yeah.
experiment on
Yes,
the
sure.
people in them. So each group of vault dwellers is kind of weird and different in their own way. Lucy comes from a vault where everyone is super optimistic, naive,
Which is a good
soft,
thing and a bad
kind.
thing.
And so much of the comedy revolves around the contrast between, you know, her obnoxious, upbeat attitude and what's really outside of the vault. They do a fantastic job of showing what life and
I think that's also quite a good thing to have, and then especially in the Fallout adaptation, is to have someone who's pretty like morally optimistic and positive, and then gradually as the series progresses, they just sort of like get to our level, sort of. Yeah, it's like the Joker from the Dark Knight. It says, "I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to our level. What did you do to him?"
culture is like in this vault. At one point, they hold an election for new overseer, and one of the candidates says,
You ran a great campaign.
I know. Must have put 10 posters up.
What you gotta do when you put a few posters up.
Yeah.
Let democracy run its course.
All right. Reading back to the Helldivers stuff. All right.
Ella Purnell, the actress for Lucy, said she wanted to approach the role like Ned Flanders in the apocalypse. This is the most accurate description of her character. She's fucking awesome. Throughout the show, she almost reflects.
All right, two things. First of all, Lucy's character, at least for the first half, so goddamn adorable. I swear to God. And that's not me being a simp. That's just me just saying that in general. And secondly, I think what describes Lucy's character arc in this is basically that scene of Ned Flanders basically snaps at everyone else after like destroying Ned Flanders' house. He's like, "Calm down, they did their ding dong best. You know, got to make sure not to flip out. The hell of all this ding dong crap. Can't you morons do anything right?" That's pretty much Lucy's character. Although that's just like a slightly less comedic version than that.
Like the player's experience playing Fallout for the first time. You know, initially you start off naive, like, well, how bad could it be? And then by the end, you're like, this place is fucking awful.
Yeah.
Lucy's character arc going from naive vault dweller to woman of the wasteland is a really interesting one.
Huge difference between the character in the beginning and the character in the end.
Violence and gore. And to be honest, the show kind of drops the ball here. It's really tame.
I sense a heavy dose of sarcasm.
We do a little trolling.
We live in a society, mate.
Insane. Exactly like the games. People get their legs blown off. They get dismembered, decapitated. And the effects are amazing. A lot of times I can't tell what, if anything, is CG or green screened. The show is
the effects in this is just like, goddamn.
At one point in episode
this has a TV budget? Like, good for me.
Why are they using so much slow-mo? Then I realized I'm a fucking idiot. They're recreating the iconic cinematic tilt.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm glad they did it like this rather than have like this, you know, the VATS sort of display, because that would have been like a little too on the nose. So it's good that they like at least showed it a little bit more subtly, just to like say, "Oh, why do I slow mo? Oh, I see what they're doing." See, I picked that up pretty easily. But yeah, it is pretty solid enough that someone would actually kind of miss it. Not gonna lie. And then boom.
It's so good. Now that I think about it, I don't know if I saw any energy weapons or laser guns in the show.
There was one at the very end, except it never got fired.
And we gotta have stuff for season 2, right? There's a language to cinema that has not been ignored. The Fallout series does a lot of showing. Scenes are often carried by the expressions of the actors. They dictate a scene
like I said beforehand,
and tell us more than words could. Everyone's acting is fucking phenomenal. You know, brevity is the soul of wit. They go for a less is more approach with dialogue. And this works really well in scenes where Norm is uncovering the dark secrets of the vault
facial expressions,
and what's really going on.
Especially tell a lot with little dialogue.
Exposition. Like when characters talking away that feels like they're speaking to the audience, they're just not looking at the camera. Bugs the shit out of me, takes me out of the story. But in the Fallout show, I get so wrapped up in what's happening that I forget when scenes are meant to inform me of something important. This is a sign of well-written, thought-out dialogue. that lets the viewer feel like they're uncovering things with the character and not just being told about them.
Yeah, it's like you're
if
actually
that
there
makes
with them.
sense. What makes the show so easily
Good immersion.
likable is how it pays service to the fans. With numerous references, callbacks, every
just like,
episode
hey,
had me
remember that?
like, yo, that's that thing from the games that I'm not going to explicitly mention.
Yeah,
because
because
you should watch the show
spoilers.
yourself so you can have that oh shit moment like I did.
Uh-huh.
And I've been bringing up a lot of things that the Fallout show doesn't do, mistakes it doesn't make, and I think that's equally important to what it does well when making a show like this. Because if the fan service is too on the nose, too blatant,
Yeah.
you know, it can feel like a Fallout's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, you like that? You like that shit? And there's never
Yeah,
a
I think probably the most egregious level of that sort of like that particular fan service I've seen, at least from like to the point where it gets pretty much obnoxious, is the second Space Jam movie. I don't know why, but the callbacks and the references, I just feel like, oh, and the recent Chip and Dale one as well. Just I don't know why, but for some reason that those two in particular are just like, okay, this didn't need to reference it. It's nice that they referenced this, but it didn't need to happen. Okay, that's the reference to that. Okay, how many references are you going to make? Jesus Christ, stop already! Yeah, that I'm glad it didn't go too overboard with the references.
moment like that. Everything feels natural. It's just the right amount. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't watched the entire show. I'm going to mention some references,
yep.
Easter eggs.
Same here. If you haven't seen Fallout, go do so. Pause my video. See Fallout, all 8 episodes of them. Come back to this point, and we'll resume. I'll give you about 5 in-game, 5 in-game, 5 in-universe seconds for me. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. Anyone back yet? Let's proceed.
Eggs and cameos that I thought were really fucking cool. So if you want to have those oh shit moments yourself, skip to the timestamp.
Hopefully everyone who sees my video has actually seen it as well.
All right, now that it's just me and you.
Yep, here we go.
Real Fallout fans.
Let's go.
How about that fucking Mr. House cameo?
I know,
That was
right?
awesome. And all those
Goated.
scenes where Norm is like, you know, on computer terminals. I was just
And
waiting for
yeah,
the
and it
hacking
shows
screen to
up
pop
the
up,
hacking
and when
screen.
It did,
And there it is.
I don't know why I got
wait
so
for it.
hyped
Wait
on
for it.
that,
There
but
it
I was
is.
like,
There it
there's
is.
no way Norm's gonna fucking crack this password, and then of
And
course
he does.
did. But Norm
Because
has
plot
obviously
convenience.
spec'd into science and intelligence.
Uh-huh.
You know, little stuff like that just it gets people excited. One of my favorite lines of dialogue that summarizes Fallout and Elder Scrolls better than any sentence ever has.
What about the head? I need the head to get my dad
Yeah,
back.
well, the Wasteland's got its own golden rule.
Oh, what's that?
Thou shalt get sidetracked by bullshit every goddamn time.
Bruh,
That's
it's
just side quests in
exactly like
general.
the games.
That's
Also,
just side
thought it was
quest-
hilarious
that's just
when
side
Night
questing in
Titus is
general.
Fighting the Yao guy, and he just starts running away like fuck,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. It's just like, oh no, I didn't sign up for this. That's what I was fighting Enclave.
Because even when you have power armor, that still
Doesn't
happens
mean
in the
anything.
games. That moment when Lucy is in
Even if you
vault
have power
form, she
armor, it
holds
won't
up the
mean
NCR
jack if
flag
you're
as
fighting
the
a Deathclaw.
Fallout theme plays.
Oh yeah, that moment was. Ooh, I got shivers in my spine. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Bravo.
Fan service done right. Spoilers over. Another way they pay fan service is through the music, ripping some of the most iconic tracks from the games. They got the list of best bops from the series in here.
Yeah,
They
the
have
radio
music
stuff.
that was featured in the games, but also entirely new tracks. And they fit so well within the scenes that I'm like, did they come up with this song for this scene? Because
Yeah,
it
it's almost
always
like they
seems to
pay
match
attention to the source
lyrics
material.
with what's
Again, very
happening on
important.
screen. It's uncanny. When Maximus
I
and
know, right?
Lucy are walking along some railroads, it plays a version of I've Been Working on the Railroad. There's a ton of examples.
That's good,
Watch
that's
the
good.
show
Good
yourself
attention
and
to
see how
detail.
many you can find. Also, you might notice that the outro for each episode has that slow moving zoom out that
Yeah.
you see at the start of Fallout 3.
Yeah,
in
I
Vegas
noticed that.
in
It's
the
just like,
first
wow.
game. It's such a nice detail. The show
Nice
does
touch.
a really great job of exploring the themes of Fallout in new and interesting ways. It's a very deep narrative that you'll feel rewarded for paying attention. There's a lot of foreshadowing that can probably go
Yeah, it's
over
pretty
your
good for
head,
newcomers
and
as well
watching it a
as
second
veterans.
time, you'll be like, oh,
Yeah,
Now,
that's
I
stuff
haven't
which I'm
played all the
probably
games,
missed,
but I
but you
believe
know.
that a lot of the pre-war stuff that happened is rarely covered in Fallout or shown. The show
Yeah,
does a
it's not
fantastic job
really
of swapping between past
shown
and
in the
present
games
and seeing how things
that
led
much.
to nuclear war, who was
With, like,
responsible, why.
if it was,
the
it
way
was very subtle
backstory
about
is
it.
woven into what's happening in the present is phenomenal. You slowly understand what's happening in the present and how what happened in the past caused the bombs to drop. The Fallout
And
show
then,
may
yeah,
have
yeah,
some
slow
flaws,
progression.
and people who, you know, really care about the lore may not care for it, but it's extremely faithful to the source material.
Yeah, it's
For me,
very
it's
faithful. I was
everything
surprised how
and
faithful it
more
was.
I could have hoped to see from a Fallout show.
Like, they could
At
have done
least
the bare
a
minimum,
Fallout show
but they
that
didn't.
runs for
They went
8
the extra
hours.
mile.
Can't fit everything into a single season. And can I
Nope,
just say,
absolutely
the
not.
ending, the final shot. For me,
Yeah,
the show
we
does
go
so
in
much
that
right
place,
that
baby.
what it does wrong can easily be overlooked in my eyes. You know, swept out of my brain. When the audience knows and can feel the passion you have for the source material and you clearly respect it, you can get away with some mistakes. This is
Yeah,
a show
also,
that I could
Lucy's
recommend to pretty
actress
much everyone.
It's 2 for 2
Fans of
for
Fallout,
being
gaming
part
fans
of
who
2
never played
very
Fallout,
good
or people that don't even
video
play
game
video
adaptations.
games. Take notes of other video game adaptations. This is how you tap into the
This
elusive,
is how you
broader
do it.
audience
Da, da,
by
da,
staying
da,
true
da.
to what made the source material appeal to a broader audience in the first place.
Yeah, I know. Again, take notes, Halo writers. There's no shame in that show, is there?
I cannot wait for the next season. I am looking forward to it. I have just been installing a bunch of mods to go replay New Vegas again. There's a lot of potential with the Fallout show. But what do you think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Who was your
I mean, I've
favorite
given my
character?
piece.
What was your favorite scene? Leave a like if you enjoyed
Oh,
this video.
okay, in that
Subscribe
case-
to the Act Man.
Right, favorite character? I'm probably just Cooper. Like, Cooper's the standout for me. And also, he has my favorite. Actually, I have 2 favorite scenes, and oddly enough, they're from the first episode. So the obvious one is, well, the intro sequence, because goodness me, that was just like that was good. That was something else. And and a personal favorite of mine is when we finally see ghoulified Cooper, and I especially love like his first line of dialogue, and when he's like ghoulified, it's just basically like, well. Is this an Amish production of the Count of Monte Cristo, or is this just the weirdest circle jerk I've ever been invited to? Like, that dialogue alone just basically like, oh yeah, he's my favorite character. But yeah, the Fallout show has been like, again, surprisingly faithful to the source material. Like, scarily so, I should say. And yeah, it's a good entry point for newcomers who has no idea what the hell a video game even is, and realize, oh, okay, this series looks interesting. Oh, this was based on and then there you go, free money for Bethesda. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, given Todd Howard's works. But you know, I'm looking forward to the season 2. Yeah, especially given the again what he said, the final shot. Because if you know, you know, and if you don't, go watch it. But yeah. That was the Axeman's. The Fallout show is unbelievably good. Unbelievably good, man. Anyway. So, that was that. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Ciao.